rack of lamb, this is not how it arrives in, okay? Now it comes in as a fair end of lamb, and it becomes a rack of lamb after you do the preparation on it. Now I'll go through, as I said, with a separate video for you in relation to how to prepare the lamb from becoming a fair end into a rack, okay? Now, but what I've done anyway here is to leave the remaining portion of this here for you that you can actually follow through. Now, first thing is we have removed here the shoulder blade here, okay? This has already been taken out here. But more importantly, what we want to remove here is, you can see here, you see this here, okay? A lot of people leave that, alright? That's not correct. That's the fell. Now, two ways of doing this. You can do it the slow way, alright, which is actually pull the fell away as you're moving down over the back of the lamb here, like so. And when you get to a certain point, just get yourself a cloth, hold it down, wrap the fell, and hold down the cloth here like so, wrap the fell in it, and just pull. Now, there we go. As the fell has come off, there it is there. Excuse me. You can see that we have removed this completely from the back. Here we have some sinew here that needs to be removed. Now again guys, you need to have a good sharp knife when you're doing this, alright? And don't, you know, go crazy with the amount of trimming that you do. You just need to remove off sinew that's on the back of the lamb here. Now again, you can see what I'm doing here. Nothing too difficult about this. I'm going to turn this over now. I want to trim off this part here. And again, I'm using the area of, you can see here, we've removed it cleanly off there. We haven't taken any lumps out of the meat. So again, like so, trimming off, turn it over, let's have a look. Okay, I want to get a little bit more off underneath here, as you can see. Again guys, like I said to you, don't go over the top on this. It's not necessary. What you want to do is you just want to remove the heavy sinew, okay? Now, there's the sinew removed from the lamb itself, okay? We don't want that, okay? We're just going to get rid of that into the bin. Now the next thing that we want to do is we want to clean the bones. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is, you can see here, okay, that in between the bones there is flesh, there's fat, there's sinew, there's tissue, there's blood. If that is left on and that is put into the oven, this burns and makes for extremely poor presentation, okay? The whole point of preparing the lamb like so is to be able to pick it up by the bone and eat it, okay? Like so, in the oven. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to clean the bones. Now, so take a good grip on the bone and work your blade down the bone like so, okay? And any sinew that has been attached to it here, we can just cut it off. Now this is a bit of a slow process, but again, from a presentation standpoint, it has to be done. Otherwise it just becomes amateurish and very, very bad kitchen practice. So again, so we're scraping the bones down here now like that, and we're removing remaining rubbish that's on that bone there. Now you can see there from that bone that it is much cleaner. It's makes for much better presentation. And again, I just want to be able to make sure what I'm talking about, cleaning the bones for presentation. This, all of that came from the bones here. Now these bones have been scraped clean. They're bone dry, as you can see here. This is proper presentation for a rack of lamb. Again, same with this one here. You can see the bones have been scraped clean. They're bone dry. There's not a screed of any fat or sinew. Again, you can see the amount of junk that came off those bones. Now that just came from these bones here. So this is what is burning when you're actually putting it into the oven, uncovered or anything to that effect, and uncleaned. Again, portion the racks out. Now we're portioning them out into 3 bone sections. So we're allowing 3 cutlets per person. Now obviously we're going to run out of a bone, but we're going to have enough lamb here to make sure that there is a third portion here. So first one, as we said, is here, like so. You just want to cut parallel, run the knife down parallel to the bone. Okay, that is there is 1 portion. Next, same again. Now what we're going to do here is the same thing, parallel to the bone, as you can see there. Now we have 3 portions. Okay, same thing here, parallel to the bone. Here we go. And again, parallel to the bone here. Now what I want to do is I want to get these ready, and what I'm going to do is we're going to put a fresh rosemary and herb crust on this, okay, over it. So what I want to do to get the mustard down into the flesh itself is I want to cut just barely across the skin like so. Turn it like so. Again, what I'm making here, for a better word of it, is a crisscross. Okay, that's it guys. I will bring you back when I have when I'm preparing the herb crust, and we'll take this to the next level. We're going to use our rosemary now in our fresh herb crust. But before we actually begin using the fresh rosemary, what we want to do is we want to heat it. Okay? Why do we want to heat it? Because we're going to be bashing the rosemary to actually try and get some of the perfume from the oil to actually come out. Now, what we want to do with this is, as you can see here, I'm dry roasting it, is just to get the process going, heating through rosemary stems, okay, and the leaf. You do not want to leave this on for too long, because what is going to happen is that the leaf is going to burn. So that's it then, that's it. We're just about ready to get our rosemary prepared to go into this herb crust. We've heated the rosemary, we've warmed it up, so it's getting ready now to begin to give us some oil once we begin to bash. Now, after we bash, then we're going to chop, alright? So I'll just finish this off here, and you can see it's not that difficult at all. Now, that's it. We're ready now to prepare the rosemary. So the first thing that we want to do is we literally want to bash the actual leaves, okay? Now, we're getting our lamb ready. First thing that we need to do is we need to season up the lamb. So we're just plenty of salt and pepper just across the lamb here like so, and then the lamb's going to go into the pan. We want to seal it out, and then we're going to finish it off basically with the crust going on top of that. So step 1, step 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now, like I said, we're not cooking it off. All we're doing is sealing, okay? So, you'll understand what I'm talking about when we begin to actually get a bit of colour up on. You can see these are colouring fairly quick. The one thing you do not want to do is to let this lamb burn, okay? Okay, so now we're colouring up on that side. We're going to turn the lamb up like so. Okay, so the whole idea of what we're trying to do here, guys, is we're trying to put as I said before, we're trying to put a seal all the way around the lamb, that when the herb crust goes onto it, everything is locked inside that herb crust, and the flavour of the herbs actually permeates through into the lamb itself. So, okay, Again, we're using extreme heat here, guys. We want to get this done fast. So basically, as I said here, that's it. We've just got one more side left on the lamb to seal off, and then we'll be ready to actually start on the crust. Here is we're starting off the base for the crust. Now what I have here is I have some finely diced onion, the rosemary that you saw us prepare earlier on, and also some freshly chopped parsley, which you also saw us prepare. I'm giving it a little bit of a seasoning here. I'm going to cook this off until it becomes slightly softened. Then I'm going to add in some oils that we have left over from the lamb seasoning that we did there a while ago. So this is going to take about 5 to 10 minutes to prepare, and as I'm going through the different stages of it, I'll bring you through it. Herbs have begun to break down here, which is exactly what we want to happen. Now the other thing is we don't want to cook these herbs out completely. All we're doing is sweating them off really. Now what I'm going to do to this now is I've got about a half a pound of butter in here. I'm going to add in about a half a pound of white breadcrumbs as well. Equal quantities of putting this crust together. So again, you can weigh it out or you can judge it by eye. So if it was me and I was doing this for the first time, weigh it out. Okay, that's just about ready. Okay, you again. Now, that's it. I'm going to turn the heat off now, and I'm just basically going to work the rest of these crumbs in. And we have, basically we have, not only do we have a herb crust feature, we also have something that resembles stuffing. So you could also use this as also a lamb stuffing if you wished. It's perfectly adequate, very tasty with the lamb, having the rosemary and the fresh parsley, etc. in there. Okay, so that's it. This crust is now ready. I'm going to take it off, I'm going to let it cool, I'm going to get the lamb prepared. Through everything now from start to finish with the lamb. You saw how we prepared it, we saw how we scraped the bones clean, you saw how we then sealed the lamb off, then how we put the mustard on, how we put the herb crust on. The only thing that's left now for this lamb is to put it into the oven, cook it, take it out and serve it. Now a good rule of thumb guide for you, if you want to have if you like your lamb pink, which is the way I like it, leave it in a preheated oven. Now this is important, make sure you put it into a preheated oven. The oven should be preheated to around about 180-185 degrees centigrade. So when you put the lamb in, for a pink piece of rack of lamb, make sure that it stays in there for around about 25 to 30 minutes. That's a rough guide, that's a good guide. Check it at 25 if you still feel that the lamb is a little bit too pink for you. Just bring it forward for about, leave it in there till around about 30-32 minutes. Now if you don't understand what I mean by how to check the meat, go and look for the video that we've done showing you how to check the cooking degree of meat by touch. So check that out and you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. So look, I'm going to get this lamb now into the oven. All that's left, as I said, is to put it into the oven. Again, make sure it's preheated, cook it, take it out, carve it and serve it. Okay, now here's the lamb just out of the oven, and you can see here that the way that the crust hasn't burnt or anything to that effect. It's turned out lovely. Okay, so let's start carving. So The idea is basically just to carve down between the bones. Now you can see what I'm talking about here in regards to the bones, the way that they've all come out lovely and clean, as opposed to if we had have left the meat on, they would have been all covered in bits and burnt bits of meat, etc, etc, burnt bits of fat. But look, is it necessary to scrape the bones to this level? No, of course it's not. But if you want to have a really effective presentation, you want the meat, or should I say the lamb, to look great on a plate, well then yeah, go the extra mile, do the little bit of extra preparation on it, because believe me, it does show at the end of the day. So look, let's start carving. So just down between the bones like such, and you can see here that the lamb has retained its wonderful pink colour, as you can see. Now there you go. Now the crust has obviously come off a little bit here, but I wouldn't worry about that. So you can see here, wonderfully pink, wonderfully moist. If you've never tried lamb before, or a rack of lamb, I would suggest give it a shot. Believe me, you won't regret it.